The prairie wind moved like a wandering ghost across the darkening plains, rattling the dry weeds and whispering through the abandoned stagecoach stop as Cowboy. Holden Hayes rode along the lonely trail. After 3 days of herding cattle, through rough country, his back ached, his eyes stung from lack of sleep, and all he wanted was a warm fire and the silence of his small ranch. But life had a way of dropping storms into a man's path when he least expected it. As his horse slowed near the old station, something, maybe instinct, maybe providence, made him pull the reins tight and lift his lantern toward the shadows. At first he thought the shapes were tumbleweeds caught against the wall, but then one of them moved, just barely, and a faint whimper drifted through the cold air. Holden's heartbeat kicked hard as he stepped off his horse, boots crunching softly on the frostbitten dirt, and he lowered the lantern until the light brushed over 2 tiny forms curled together under a threadbare sack. Children, little children, twins, no older than 4, a boy and a girl, shivering so violently their teeth chattered, their small bodies pressed together for warmth on the bitter ground. Holden's chest tightened with a pain he hadn't felt in years, not since the night he lost his own family, and he dropped to his knees, brushing the sack aside with trembling hands. The girl's eyelids fluttered open first, revealing hazel eyes dull with exhaustion and fear. "Mister," she whispered, her voice cracking on the cold air. Are you the bad man coming back?" The boy buried his face into his sister's shoulder, whimpering softly. Holden's voice shook as he answered, "No, sweetheart. I ain't no bad man. I ain't gonna hurt you." He lifted them gently, shocked by how weightless they were, as if life itself had been draining out of them. One clung to his coat with icy fingers while the other buried her tear-streaked face against his chest. "Where's Mama?" Holden asked, his voice low but urgent. The girl swallowed hard, eyes filling with tears. "Mama told us to hide," she whispered. "She said she'd come back for us, but she didn't." A cold dread crept through Holden's spine. Something terrible had happened. Something that left 2 babies alone on the ground in the middle of nowhere. He carried them inside the broken-down station, wrapping them in his coat, lighting a fire in the cracked stove, warming them slowly so their little bodies didn't go into shock. As they thawed, they sucked down the warm water he offered, shaking with every sip. Between hiccups and soft cries, they told him bits and pieces. A group of men, Mama running, Mama telling them to hide in the bushes and not move no matter what. The girl said she heard shouting, then silence. The boy said he heard Mama cry. Holden's jaw clenched with a quiet fury he hadn't felt in years. These children had been left in the cold like abandoned pups because someone had chased their mother. Someone dangerous. Someone who might still be close. But Holden Hayes was a man who didn't turn his back on the helpless. Not now. Not ever. He pulled the shivering twins closer, promising softly, "I'll keep you safe. Both of you. And I'll find your Mama, I swear it." Outside, thunder rolled across the dark sky, the first drops of rain beginning to fall, and the lantern flickered like a heartbeat in the little room. The twins curled against him, finally warm enough to fall. Asleep, tiny breaths rising and falling against his chest. Holden stared into the fire, exhaustion mixing with determination, knowing deep in his bones that this night was only the beginning. Somewhere out there a woman was hurt, running, or taken. Somewhere out there danger prowled. But Holden Hayes, quiet cowboy, lone-hearted man, felt something spark inside him that he thought had died long ago. Purpose. And as the storm rolled across the plains, he held the twins close and whispered into the crackling fire, "Don't you worry, little ones. I'll bring your Mama back, no matter what stands in my way."